about to head to Europe for 30 days and I am going to take one carry-on. I love, like a lot of travelers, to go online and find inspiration and find a lot of packing lists. They tend to be kind of limited and they tend to be for who I would call backpacker girl. Nothing against backpacker girl, but I'm in my mid-30s and I'm going to be in a lot of cities, I'm going to be with a bunch of other women, and I kind of want to have some fun with what I'm wearing. And I think it gets really hard when you think, okay, I know I need to be in a small suitcase. How do I actually do this? How do I not get bored? And so I thought, why not show you what I'm gonna pack in this little thing and all of the ways that they can go together. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and start packing, show you what I've come up with and all the ways that I can get a bunch of outfits out of just a few pieces into one little suitcase for a month. Let's go. All right, so I've packed a lot of carry-on suitcases over the years, but I've never actually counted how many outfits I can get out of the pieces that I bring. So I thought it'd be kind of fun to do a little counter and figure out together how many combinations I can get out. What I do know is that the trick is to really create a capsule wardrobe out of this little thing. And we've talked a lot about this in this channel already, so go check all of our packing videos and our anti-packing list video and all the different things we have. Because I think thinking about all of the pieces that you have as one kind of capsule wardrobe that things can mix and match together is really the key when you're going this small. So everything that I'm thinking generally has the same color palette and are a lot of things that can maybe open or close or layer on top of each other, so I can get a lot of different outfits out of the same things, because I tend to get a little bit bored. Where we're headed is going to be Northern Europe. It's going to be a little bit chilly. So thinking in terms of things that can layer is a whole other thing. And as the weather gets colder, it gets a lot harder to know how to pack small, because you want to have, big fluffy sweaters. And as I started, I had a few pieces that I really wanted to bring. And as I started actually fitting them into my packing cubes and looking at it, I realized I had to make some cuts. So this is my fully cut down wardrobe. And I'm gonna just start pulling pieces and show you how they all go together, and we'll start counting. Let's go. All right, so first things first, let's talk bottoms, because I think you have to start there and then think all the things that are gonna layer on top. For me on this trip, I actually decided for the first time probably ever, I'm not bringing a pair of jeans. I've decided it's soft pants only. I'm gonna be super comfy. And I'm also gonna cheat a little bit because I'm gonna bring 2 jumpsuits that can be bottoms if I put things over them. So that way I feel like I'm getting more things out of it because they're gonna be overalls, and you'll see. So that's where I'm gonna start. So I've decided, amazingly, I'm actually only gonna bring 1 pair of pants, which is crazy, I know, but these are just a basic pair of black joggers. You can use your imagination, but they're super comfy, but they look like nice black pants, but they're basically pajama pants, in my opinion. So they're skinny, they're thin, they'll layer with pretty much everything that I have. So that's kind of one outfit for everything, essentially in my head. Everything will go with these. Secondly, I'm a skirt person. So I wanted to bring something, especially because it's going to be, like I said, like we're going into, it's going to be a little bit warmer, it's going to be a little bit cooler. So I'm going to bring a black pair of tights. I have a pair of boots I'm going to wear things with. So bringing a gray skirt that can go over pretty much everything. And a lot of my kind of flowy tops can go into it. So that's kind of my second foundational bottom piece. And then I have 2 jumpsuits. I have this guy that's way more casual, that's more like overalls. And so I have a lot of things that are gonna go, like shirts that can go under it as overalls, but then I can put a sweater on top of it, or a button down over it and tied. So this can end up being just basically like black jean pants, or it can be on its own or have a jacket on top of it. So that's one of my bottoms basics. And then this guy is a little bit dressier and more of a, but it's so thin that it kind of cheats, and it's sort of one of my gimme items because it rolls up really thin. But basically, if I put a shirt on, if I put like a sweater or something over this, it becomes another pair of black pants. So that's kind of how I'm getting away with only bringing 1 pair. Okay, so for tops, normally I'm a very like black, minimal kind of a girl, but I decided to have a little bit of fun. And so I'm bringing a few things that are a little bit louder, more patterns, but they're all kind of in the same color family, and they all work with all of the like more neutral bottoms that I'm gonna bring. So top number 1 is super flowy, but it looks good when you belt it or when you tuck it in or with the skirt. Number 2 is a little bit lighter in case it's hotter, but same kind of a deal. My favorite thing is this guy that is a little bit sheer and a little bit dressier and a little bit longer, but it also has a button down, which I love button downs for anything because that gives you one more option for a layer, because something can be open or tied over something else if it's a button down. So that's my third kind of top. And then I have my absolute staples. I'm bringing just a black striped shirt that's thin, and I'm bringing a black striped sweater that's also a thin sweater that I can layer under or on top. And then for sure, just a basic black sweater. And what I love about this is it's long on the back. So if I want to just wear it with leggings, I can do that. But I can layer it with a bunch of stuff. And then I always bring just a little tank that's long, but super, super thin that can go under everything. And just for some reason, if it's really hot, I won't die, but it can always add an extra layer to something if I need a little bit more warmth. So that's one of my go-tos that comes with me on pretty much every trip. Those are my tops. And then I'm bringing 2 button downs. So I'm gonna bring this guy that's more like a tunic, but what I like about it is I can open it up and have it be more like a duster on top of something, or I can actually have it go under this in the skirt and it becomes a shirt, or it's cute if it goes long, but I can tie it in front and wear it with leggings. So that's another outfit out of that. So that becomes really versatile. And then I always bring a chambray button down, because to me, this goes over and on top or under or tied to just about everything. And when you're a little bit chilly, it just helps stretch things out. So I have 2 more kind of extra pieces, and then that's everything I'm bringing. So I have one dress. I'm just a dress person, but I wanted to choose something that I could feel good if I wanted to go out at night or feel a little bit nicer, but also layers really well with things. So I can put jackets on top of it. I could put a button down on top of it and tie it so it feels a little bit more casual in the daytime. I can belt it, and I can put a sweater on top of it and it becomes a skirt. So to me, even though it's a pattern, I feel like it's super versatile, and all the things that I have, I can actually get 3 or 4 different outfits out of this. And then I have this little jacket that mom actually sewed because she's amazing. And I love this because, again, like, it's gonna be cooler and I'm gonna have like an actual coat. But sometimes if it's a little bit warmer and I wanna just have a little jacket, this kind of fits in things. But if I wanna put the coat on top of it, it can be part of the outfit. So this can layer on top of a whole bunch of things and just makes me feel kind of one more little layer that makes me feel good. So that's everything that I'm bringing. And now let's just start making combinations and count how many I can come up with. I think one of the main reasons why we overpack is because we're afraid of getting bored. And also, you don't know where you're gonna go or what you're gonna need, and so you wanna be prepared for things, which is a totally reasonable human emotion. So the way that I go around that is by having a few pieces that I know will go with literally every other combination, and think about how versatile is the thing and how many things it can go with. So for me, something like this, it's the black tunic, right? Or like the black button down. Because it's long, it can be a dress on its own. Because it's open, I can tie it and it can go with pants. So that's 2, right? It can also tuck in, so I can tuck it in with a skirt. That's 3. But it can also, because it's open, it can kind of become a duster that can go over literally every shirt that I'm bringing and the pants. And then the other thing I love to do is to have sweaters that can go on top of things. So I have a striped sweater that can go on top of it, and then I have a black sweater that can go on top of it. So that's 2 more. So that ends up being 9 combinations of things that this one thing can go with. It's pretty good, like 9 whole outfits. And then I can also start adding a jacket onto something, and then it comes up with a whole other set of numbers, right? Because then this turns every other outfit into its own thing. So this actually looks really cute to get like on top of it, and it brings in another color. It's a whole other thing. So if I take that jacket, that becomes good over all of the sweaters that I have if it's chilly, but it also is good over literally every top that I'm bringing. It ends up being really cute. So then that with pants, these are leggings, but that with pants or that with a skirt becomes a whole other set of outfits. So that ends up being like 16 different combinations that just this one jacket extends the longevity of everything. And then when you get into the skirt, it can literally go with all of the 7 tops that I'm bringing, right? All of the different tops and the 2 sweaters, plus it can go with the button downs that I'm bringing and either tied on top of something or on their own. So then that ends up adding a whole other set of things. So I love, like I said, I love a chambray because it can be on its own, it can be long, or you can tie it on top of any of these tops with something like the skirt. And that becomes a whole 10 other combinations of things. So day to day, even if you're with the same people and you're afraid that they're gonna see you in the same things all the time, you're mixing it up enough that even in photos on Instagram, it's not gonna look like you're wearing the same things all the time, which I love. And then when I get into my secret sauce, which is making jumpsuits that can stand on their own or end up being pants, that becomes a whole other set of combinations, right? So obviously I have 2 sweaters that can go over this, but I can also wear the jacket on top of it, or I can tie something like the button downs on top of it. And the same thing, and then this guy becomes basically overalls. So I could take my striped shirt and put it under, and then it becomes overalls. But I could take the striped sweater and put it on top, and it becomes pants. And that makes 10 other combinations of things with shirts under it and over it and jackets on top of it. That becomes without it seeming like it's the same thing. Even my dress, which is a little bit more standalone and kind of more of my fun thing just to feel like I have something a little bit nicer, can still end up having a jacket over it or a sweater on top of it. And then if I put the sweater on top of it, it basically becomes a skirt. So the idea is, don't be afraid of pattern, don't be afraid of color, but think about colors that can work together and think about things that can layer. They can open up, they can go under, they can fold on top of, and you get a lot more versatility. Now, one more thing, let's talk shoes. You know, if you've watched any of my content, you'll know that I'm a big proponent of 3 pairs of shoes, if you can possibly help it. So in this case, I'm gonna be doing a whole bunch of walking in cobblestones, and it's gonna be pretty rainy. So I searched high and low to find a pair of boots that were Scotch guarded, that could go in the rain, but gave me a ton of arch support so that I could actually wear them as my walking shoe. And that's not gonna be for everyone. You can take tennis shoes, fine. I don't want you to look like me. I want you to look like you, but feel really versatile doing it. So for me, something like this that I know is actually really comfortable will replace a tennis shoe, but still be something that I could wear with a skirt and tights and feel kind of cute. I could wear it at night and still feel like I'm in Europe and I'm not like the American wearing the white tennis shoes all the time, you know? So there's that. And then my rule is heaviest pair of shoes goes with you on the plane. So those are gonna go with me and then they'll slip right off when I'm on my seat. And then I can have room to take 2 flat pairs that give me a little bit more versatility and are a little bit more fun. So these are from a company called Vivia, which I really like. And this is a really comfy and well-supported pair of flats, but they pack super flat. And I actually have a bunch of these, but I went with a color that is bright, but makes me happy. And I have so many neutrals that this literally will work with all of the different combinations of things. So even though it's a bright color, I know it's gonna still be versatile if I wanna go out or if I'm bopping around the hotel or whatever and I don't wanna pair my big boots on, I have options. And then the third one that I'm gonna see if I have room for, and if I don't have room in my suitcase, I'm gonna leave them. But these are a little pair, they're the same material. They can stick in the washer if they get gross. They're really wonderful, but they feel just a little bit funky and a little bit cool, and they're still really comfortable. I can walk all around town, but I feel a little bit more dressed and a little bit more interesting and a little bit more me. So that's how I'm going about it. And then the rest of it is just, you know, underwear, a swimsuit, cover up, that kind of stuff. But everything that I'm taking will fit into 2 packing cubes, which will fit on this side of my suitcase, leaving all of this side of my suitcase for shoes and toiletries. And then honestly, I'm gonna probably leave as much room as possible open so that as I have treasures that I find, which if you haven't seen the video about all of the 5 things that we always buy when we're traveling, go check that out. But I'm gonna leave a lot of room so that as I find things, I can stuff things and not feel like I'm just cramming myself full. I always like to leave with a suitcase a little bit empty. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. Let me know if you have any questions, if you have things that you always love to pack, I'd love to hear them. And then stay tuned, because I think it's useful to see how different people approach the same kind of a trip at different life stages. And there's just not a lot on YouTube of like different ages of women packing. So coming up, we're gonna have Mom come and show what she's doing on the suitcase for the same trip. So you can see a 30-something-year-old and a 60-something-year-old. So I think it's a good way of seeing how different people approach the same problem. So happy packing.